They say curiosity killed the cat, but in my neighborhood, it nearly tarnished Karen's reputation. Picture this: waking up before dawn, peeking through your window, and catching your HOA president in her bathrobe. A scene unfolding as she brazenly steals letters from your mailbox. That was the alarming reality I found myself in, setting off a federal sting operation that left her in cuffs. Before we delve deeper, I invite you to comment below with which country you're tuning in from. Let's see how far this tale stretches. It all began at 5:30 a.m. when I noticed puzzling gaps in my mail over the weeks. Utility bills arriving late, a birthday card from my sister that never made it, and even the IRS insisting a form had been delivered that I never received. Initially, I ignored it, thinking it was mere bad luck or postal errors. However, the pattern was too suspicious, compelling me to consider the possibility that someone was deliberately tampering with my mailbox. So, one fateful morning, I brewed a nice cup of coffee, settled by the window, and waited. As dawn broke, I spotted a shadow creeping down my driveway. Initially thinking it was some random porch pirate, I squinted and realized it was Karen, my HOA president. Lavender bathrobe tied snugly, slippers shuffling against the concrete. She sauntered right up to my mailbox, opened it, and rummaged through my mail effortlessly. I nearly choked on my coffee. Karen, this is the same woman who championed neighborhood integrity and dished out violation slips like candy, was stealing my mail. An urge to burst outside and confront her bubbled within me, but I kept my cool. If she was audacious enough to do it once, she'd do it again. And if she was picking on me, who knows how many other neighbors she had already targeted. The following day during our HOA meeting, I casually mentioned the missing mail. Karen smiled, tilting her head just so, the pearls swinging lightly. "Oh, you know how fickle the post office can be," she laughed, dismissing me in front of everyone. But her tone indicated she wasn't laughing at the mail service. She was mocking me. That's when it clicked. This was no longer a simple neighbor dispute. Tampering with mail is a federal offense under 18 U.S.C. Section 1708, complete with hefty fines and prison time. If Karen thought she could continue ruling the neighborhood as her personal kingdom, it was about time she learned a lesson about federal law. Realizing I wouldn't get anywhere confronting her directly, I focused on gathering proof. Anything beyond her fake smiles and HOA regulations. I needed some serious federal backup. So I reached out to the United States Postal Inspection Service. Most folks don't even know they exist, but they're the oldest federal law enforcement agency, and they take mail theft very seriously. As I explained my situation, they dismissed nothing. They asked pointed questions, took my statement, and then one agent, Inspector Lopez, said, "If what you're describing is accurate, this is a violation of Title 18, Section 1708, which could carry up to 5 years in prison. If you're willing to cooperate, we can arrange a controlled delivery." I agreed without a second thought. The plan was simple yet genius. They prepared a decoy piece of mail embedded with a small GPS tracker. It looked completely ordinary, but as soon as someone nabbed it from my mailbox, they'd be alerted. The next morning, I placed the bait envelope in my mailbox as usual and waited, nerves frayed as I gripped my coffee mug tightly. Across the street, a plain sedan with tinted windows parked quietly. The inspectors were inside, ready to pounce. Right on cue, just after sunrise, I spotted the lavender bathrobe again. Karen walked briskly, high-headed, like she was on a morning stroll. But instead of waving at neighbors, she headed straight for my mailbox. With no hesitation, she yanked it open, slipped the decoy letter into her robe pocket, and strolled off nonchalantly. Barely half a minute passed before Inspector Lopez's radio crackled. Trackers moving, subject heading northbound. Holding my breath, I watched as the car discreetly followed her. Karen had no clue she had just walked into a federal trap. She believed she was untouchable in her little HOA realm. But now she had stolen government property, and that meant the stakes just escalated. If you're enjoying this HOA saga so far, don't forget to like and subscribe, because it's about to get even juicier. By the time Karen reached her home, the inspectors had already coordinated with local law enforcement. The GPS showed her entering with the stolen envelope. Lopez turned to me, a calm demeanor on his face, and said, "Once she opens it, that's federal evidence. Keep an eye." It didn't take long for the signal to confirm the envelope had been tampered with. That was it, the green light. I stayed at a safe distance as the inspectors pulled up to her driveway, lights flashing. Karen emerged onto her porch, clutching the envelope like she just won the lottery. The smug look on her face faded instantaneously when Lopez approached, badge out, voice steady. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for theft of United States mail, a violation of 18 U.S.C. Section 3708. Please place your hands where we can see them." Karen's eyes widened in shock. "What? This can't be right. I'm the HOA president. I have authority." "Authority doesn't extend to stealing mail," Lopez interjected. "Turn around." Neighbors began to peek out of their homes, recording the unfolding drama. There she was, Karen, the queen of the cul-de-sac, being cuffed on her own porch in broad daylight. I will never forget the look on her face as Lopez read her rights. It wasn't embarrassment, it was astonishment. For years, she'd wielded her power to bully, mislead, and manipulate HOA regulations to her advantage. But this was beyond any HOA issue. This was a federal matter. As the police took her away, Lopez assured me that charges would stick and he was on point. Within weeks, Karen faced multiple counts of mail theft, leading to her being unanimously ousted from the HOA board, desperate to distance themselves from her betrayal. Suddenly, that woman who once strutted down the street in her robe now became a cautionary tale. In hushed tones, neighbors exchanged stories. Some chuckled, others just shook their heads in disbelief. But one thing was crystal clear. Nobody feared her anymore. And as for me, I no longer cared about the letters that went missing. What mattered was that because of her actions, justice, real justice, had finally arrived. Because when you mess with someone's mailbox, it's not just a casual HOA game you're playing with. It's a gamble against the federal government, who don't mess around.